What's up, guys? It's JZNES back again with another video. Today we're talking about Life is Strange 2, Episode 5, and by default the ending and the whole game as a whole. Um, and there'll be spoilers, obviously. Um, it's something I just want to say. I just want to get right into it because most of the rest of the episode doesn't really matter. The ending is the part that I have the most to talk about. You know what? I'll briefly go over the rest of it here. Let's just do it really quick. So you end up in this town after the last episode. It's a really peaceful little town that Karen built with a few other people. You get to meet the other people. David is one of the other people. Depending on the choice that you chose from Life is Strange 1 at the beginning of the game, you choose that again. Chloe's dead in this one, and he talks to you a lot about that and that kind of thing. That was kind of interesting. Him and Joyce get divorced if Chloe dies in the original game. So I felt really bad about choosing that because I thought it was just going to do something for the first episode, and that was going to be it. Because personally, I'm really on the side, or I was really on the side of save Chloe originally, the first time I played the game. So, I know it's different. You can actually get to hear him talk to Chloe and Max, on a phone call, in that situation, if you choose the other option at the beginning of the game there, which is interesting because it's actually in the Life is Strange comics is a continuation of the first game. Anyway, so that's like the most interesting thing to say there. You do like a sculpture art thing. There's two gay guys that are like together there. It's a peaceful little place, a little refuge, an oasis, if you will, away from the world's bullshit. And they're like, oh, we could live here. And I'm like, well, yeah, why don't you live there? And then Karen's all like, well, you've stayed here long enough. And now the cops are looking for you. So they're like, all right, we got to go to Mexico. So, boom, once you're done saying goodbye to everyone, you're on your way to Mexico. Nobody comes with you. It's just Daniel and you. And you go on your way to Mexico. And when you get to the border, he blows open a hole in the thing with his powers. And then you guys get caught. And you get caught by these like vigilante people who at first you think are the border patrol, but they're not the border patrol. They're just some fucking idiots who have these like terrible political beliefs about all of this stuff, and they're just assholes and bigots or whatever, and they're whatever, all of that shit, of course, because the game has to push its political shit or whatever, because we're still doing that. So anyway, these people also get arrested alongside of you, which is nice, and you have the choice to like save them later from the cell, and I'm just like, I'm not doing that. Fuck them. They're assholes, and they were assholes the whole time. There's also a couple you get taken to border patrol jail or whatever. There's this couple that's in there. They're like a Spanish or a Mexican couple. They speak Spanish is what I was trying to say. So the vigilante people can't understand. They get all really pissed that you're speaking Spanish or whatever, which is dumb. But anyway, so yeah, you get locked up. You get like briefly interrogated. Daniel comes to save you. And then you have to like uncomfortably like beat up a bunch of guards with this power or whatever. There's actually a couple of options in there like kill them, it's like, oh wow, that's really uncomfortable. And of course my Daniel, high morality, I was a good brother to him. Let's just all remember that, right? Good brother. That'll come into play in a second here. But he didn't want to kill anybody. He didn't want to hurt anybody else. I had to get him to throw a locker at the guards because that's the only way to take him out and get out of there. So he felt bad about that. I felt bad about that. Who wouldn't feel bad about that, right? I just want to say, up until this point, the whole plan has been to get to Mexico. And there's even a part as they're driving up to the border where he's like, well, what about this thing and this thing? How are we going to do this and this and this and this and this? And I'm like, yeah, you're finally bringing this up now? Like, you guys should have been thinking about this before. And he just spells all of his little fears or whatever. Oh, it'll be fine. Money goes a lot farther there and all this. And, oh yeah, and the vigilante people were like, "Ooh, you're trying to get into Mexico? That doesn't make any sense." Blah, blah, blah. And even the natives from Mexico are like, "Yeah, it's pretty shitty over there." They don't say that specifically, but they kind of imply that. They're like, "We're coming here. We're trying to get here so we can have our child and raise him in America because that'll be better for him or her." They don't know what the child is yet, but it'll be better for them. Um, and then you're like, oh yeah, my dad did that, basically, and it was a good thing, which is kind of ironic because now you are trying to get back to Mexico. But anyway, so at this point, that's it. That's pretty much the entire episode. After that, you escape, and they escaped because I let them out of their cell, um, and yeah, you just go to the border again. To the, like, front gate this time and not like a side entrance or something like we did last time. What about the hole we blew in it? Am I to, like, is it to be implied this is the hole? There was like a road leading towards it. It was really, like, he went to the wrong spot. He went to a gate on the border. And, like, there was cops, like, everywhere because they broke out. They knew he was coming. You have this, like, police scanner from David that, like, tells you that. And so why would you go to the gate? First of all, mistake number one right there. And then, basically, they surround you, and they keep yelling at you. The lady from before who was asking all the questions in the hospital, she's there, like, yelling, "Hey, Sean, just give yourself up. It'll be better for you that way. Blah, 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 blah. You can trust me. Blah, blah, blah." So at this point, and then you say goodbye to Daniel, basically. And then at this point, you get to make the final decision of the game. Which is, it's always this big, life is strange kind of decision that'll make your ending, essentially, right? And that'd be well and fine, and the choices seemed like to be good at first. Like, surrender or break through. Okay, there you go. You have your two morality options, right? Really, there's 4 endings, and the 2 that I had options for are terrible. There was a better one where they get into Mexico and they just live happily together, and that's the ending where Daniel has the lowest morality, and you fucking you screwed, you did all the wrong choices to make him a bad person, and that's the ending where you end up happy. Like, what the fuck? I chose the best of the 2 endings I had, which was, they start a car shop in that ending, by the way, also for, to, like, honor their dad or whatever. It just seemed like, oh yeah, this is good. This is what I wanted. So, but, like, so I had 2 options in my endings. The one ending, I give myself up, and, Sean goes to jail for 15 years, and then when he gets out, you get to see, like, Lila and, your mom and, like, who else was there? There was somebody else, too. They come and greet you and let you out, basically, and then, but at that point, Daniel's just basically, well, like, fuck Sean. I don't need to, we're not even on the same, we don't need to interact anymore, so they just go their separate ways. What the fuck, dude? I turned myself in for you, and you're gonna pull this shit on me? You don't want to see me anymore or interact with me or anything? So that ending fucking sucks. That's not gonna happen, I said to myself. If that surrender ending was good, I would have gone for it, but it wasn't good. It's terrible. The whole point is that, I was trying to teach Daniel good lessons and whatnot, and if that's the ending, and he doesn't even care about me by the end, what the fuck was the point? So that's terrible. That's probably, like, the worst ending right there. Which is really, it's not, because the other low morality ending that's not the good one, Sean just dies, and then Daniel goes and lives in Mexico and uses his powers to ward off anybody who tries to fuck with him, basically. Okay. even that's kind of preferable to the being in jail and then him just like, oh, I don't care about Sean anymore kind of thing. I don't know that that's exactly how the ending goes, but I read about it, and it basically says, once you get out of jail, everyone's there to greet you, you know, like your mom and Lila and a couple other people. And Daniel's just like, yeah, I don't really care about Sean, even after all we went through. Like, really? So the ending I had to go for was a fucking stupid one, because I had to still, even though I had Daniel with high morality, I had to do a low morality option by trying to break through the border, and Daniel's like, I don't want to do that. So, you know, he still helps you out and gets you in there, but then he sacrifices himself and jumps out because he knows that they won't go that hard on him or whatever. And I guess Sean knows that too, because the guy earlier said, like, he's a kid, we can't try him for anything or whatever. And he'll basically just go to live with his grandparents or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that sounds pretty good. I mean, like, you know, whatever. So, so that happens. Yeah, he just goes and lives with his grandparents. You get to see a bunch of different pictures of him from over the years, and that all seems well and fine. But I never get to see him again, you know? We only kind of have, like, basic contact. I sent him pictures. Me and Cassidy made it to I made it to Mexico, and then Cassidy apparently came to come live with me. You can also get Finn there, I guess, if you go for that option. So that's kind of nice, I guess. But, like, I don't get to see Daniel anymore. And then, like, you know, honestly, yeah, this is meant to be the good ending of the high morality path. How is this the good ending? The one where we go and hurt more people? Doesn't make any sense. Okay. The one where we're separated. You do get to see, like, he gets his first car and blah blah. At first, the pictures in, like, 2017 when it first starts out, he's like, oh, you know, he's like really sad. But then you see him hanging out with Chris, you know, Captain Spirit. He's better now. And he gets his first car, and then you see he got a puppy, and what was the other thing? There was another thing. What was the other thing? Well, okay, that's it. But then, like, he gets the postcard later, and he gets, like, pictures of you and Cassidy and stuff. And then in the backyard, he has carved into the tree Wolf Brothers. And it's like, oh, that's pretty nice. So, I mean, all things considered, my ending didn't suck that much. But still, for my high morality path that I took for Daniel, how is this the best ending where we break through the border? Wouldn't the best ending be for me to turn myself in, and then after I get out, Daniel still cares about me, comes to see me in jail, etc., etc.? Wouldn't that make more sense? No, apparently he just doesn't care about you at that point. How much sense does that make? And especially when, you know, you turn yourself in or whatever. It just doesn't make any sense. It really does not make any sense. So all the endings, I guess I did get one of the better endings. It's just the whole game is about your relationship, you and Daniel. You know, it's on the cover. You know, every episode is about you and Daniel together, and you go your separate ways in this one, and it's just, it's not cool. You know, like, I don't know. I guess it ends up good, but it just, I don't like that. There's only one ending where you guys end up together, and that is if you tell him to be a bad person. How much sense does that make? You tell him to be a bad person, and then you go and kill more cops and border patrol people to break through the border, because Daniel's a little shit at that point. He's just a murderer, and that's fine with him, and that's the best ending. What? What the fuck sense does that make? So the endings are really weird. Why is any of that a thing, right? None of that makes any sense. Why, if I was high morality the whole game, when they made it really, really hard to be high morality the whole game, did life not work out for me? You know why? I'll tell you why. Because we're not playing fucking Persona 4. We're not playing Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, whatever. We're not playing anything else. We're playing fucking Life is Strange. Where they always, no matter what, they always punctuate their endings with something bad that needs to happen. Because this is how fucking Life is Strange is. They always do this shit. The first game, the canon ending is to sacrifice Chloe, the person that you did the whole time. It's just like this game, really. If you start to think about it, they make you sacrifice the person you fought so hard for. And then... Because if you don't, the ending's not that great, you know? I do like how they kind of validated it by putting out the comics and David, and, you know, that whole thing, and that would have had Max and Chloe making a conversation or whatever, showing that they were still alive and doing well and whatever. But, you know, you either destroy Arcadia Bay, which, you know, it's Bay or Bay, man. So there's no good ending, first of all. And technically the canon ending and the best ending is to kill Chloe and then everyone's sad. But they all get to live. That's fine, right? And then David gets divorced, even though he's a nice guy. Oh yeah, Before the Storm. Either Rachel Amber lives with her abusive fucking father, who's an asshole, and wanted her mother, biological mother, dead, and has all these secrets and is working with a fucking drug dealer and the worst guy on planet Earth, Damien, who's a fuckface. Or you get the other ending, and guess what happened? Well, either way, the other ending's great. Here's the thing. The other ending's great. It's the one good Life is Strange ending. I'm telling you. She actually gets to meet her mom. She gets to be happy with Chloe. Everything works out. For once in my fucking life, everything works out. And then it doesn't work out. Because, oh, well, here we are in the dark room. 17 missed calls. Snap, snap photos. Yeah, Rachel Amber dies. Spoilers. Fuck. There's no good endings. And then in this game, even when you choose the high morality system, I was there for this kid. I did everything in my power not to corrupt this fucking kid. Daniel, he's my brother, my flesh and blood. I did everything to make him the best little motherfucking kid that there was out there. And I still don't get to end up seeing him ever. Even though we both got good lives in the end, we don't get to have them together like we wanted. It's basically like giving up Chloe, except Chloe doesn't die. Okay, I will say, I guess out of all of the endings to Life is Strange, not punctuated by a dark room or anything, that is technically the best ending outside of maybe the Mexico ending. In which case, you would have to have more low morality and you would have killed a bunch of people. So, not great. The least consequences-wise ending, maybe. Well, no, because they should still be looking for Sean. He should still be in trouble. I mean, Daniel, oh, he has this, like, one of those ankle things on his ankle, the little devices or whatever. So he's on house arrest or whatever. He gets to live out his days with his best friend, Captain Spirit, next to him, and his fucking grandparents, and they're the nicest fucking old people ever. And the grandma's even talking to the mom now. Pretty good shit, all things considering. But the fact that I don't get to see Daniel anymore is bullshit. There should have been a good ending with the high morality system where Daniel and I end up together. How is the message that I make Daniel a good person, and the only thing to do at that point is to give Daniel up either way? Right? Does that make any sense? Maybe it's meant to show because Sean didn't give himself... But even if Sean gives himself up, in our scenario, we are on the highest morality. We did everything perfectly right that we could, you know, etc., etc. I mean, we did a couple of things that were bad, and you can't really avoid a few things that were bad. But I did the least amount of killing I possibly fucking could. And if I give myself up, it's a cruel joke, because if I don't give myself up and I go to Mexico, Daniel gets in a little bit of trouble and I get in no trouble, essentially. And we both live happy lives separately. Or if I want to see my little brother again by, turning myself in, what if this was, I'm in the jail and this is all I'm thinking about my whole life? Oh, I just want to see Daniel. I just want to see Daniel. I just want to see Daniel. 15 years later, Daniel's like, I don't give a shit about you. Get the fuck out of here. Basically. That's a stupid ending. I don't know how somebody thought that was okay. I do know how, because every Life is Strange ending ends with some kind of bad thing happening. Which is that. The fact that Daniel doesn't even give a shit about you anymore and you just go your fucking separate ways. So either way, you really can't be with Daniel if you do good things. If you do bad things, yeah, then you're blood brothers. Then you can be with Daniel. Fuck yeah. The game wanted me to do bad things, I guess. The only way to get Daniel, to be able to be with his brother is if you do bad things. But I guess at the end of the day, it's the message that you shouldn't be with Daniel. Like, even after all you've been through, expand upon that maybe a little bit. Maybe in some dialogue or something that just, like, shows, like, hey, maybe I wasn't right for Daniel. They don't really get into that, It's like, it's weird. It's just really weird. And I want to see these other endings, because I haven't watched them yet, because I just needed to do the review. But it's just really weird. So, yeah. I mean, I like Life is Strange endings. But I don't like the end of Life is Strange endings. For the most part. There's always some kind of little detail that gets me about Life is Strange endings. That make them, like, go a sour direction. They can never just have a nice ending. Except for, they can, but then there's always one caveat to that. And an ending where they both end up happy is nice. And I like that. But why is that the ending where you had to break through the border to get Sean to Mexico? Shouldn't that be a bad thing? Shouldn't your message be not to do that? Not to run away from your problems, right? And not to get a kid to sacrifice himself for you. That just seems wrong. But had I gone the surrender route, he would have hated me anyway, so who cares? I don't know. It's just like, you can't win with these endings. I swear to God. They just want me to feel bad. Yeah, I don't know. That's all. I just wanted to say that. I liked the game overall. I thought, like, it felt really weirdly paced at some points. It didn't all feel cohesive, like, in a sense, but as much as, like, previous Life is Strange games all kind of tied together, it felt weirdly, like, paced at some times, but I still enjoyed the game overall, and I think it's a good game that just doesn't live up to the mastercraft of Life is Strange. I do think that the morality system was a good idea on paper, and the fact that they did 4 different endings for that is cool. But most of those endings suck. I did kind of get the best one, but I don't know. Is it really the best one if I can't see Daniel anymore? Is it really the best one? At least we're still sort of communicating, like a little bit, which is nice. I get that. Could be worse. But I don't know. It just gets me, But yeah, I liked the game overall. I'm just really so partial to the original game. It is just so classic to me. And Before the Storm, they meld together with such cohesion, and it's just... It's just gaming magnificence. It's a masterpiece. Those two games together. And they have their own problems, you know, a couple here and there, but to me, that's still like a 10 out of 10 set of games together. This game, overall, you know, I'd probably give like an 8.5 kind of thing. Not quite as good, but still good in its own right. I like a lot of the different things that they did with it. I think one big problem of the game is that every chapter you're setting up new characters, and we never really get to the chance to land on the same characters because we're always moving on. Except for Daniel and Sean, and that's kind of that. I mean, I guess there was like one or so characters that would carry over to another episode, but you always set up a bunch of new characters in every episode, and that kind of got old because you only have such limited time with each of these characters. Whereas in Life is Strange, you would see these characters all the time if you were paying attention, and then at the end of the world, the Vortex Club, the end of the world party or whatever, you had this nice moment to say goodbye to everyone and stuff. And here it was just, oh, we're saying goodbye to the people in the town. You would say goodbye to everyone every episode. So it just kind of felt less meaningful and impactful. They were all kind of their own thing rather than contributing to the bigger picture, you know. Whereas Life is Strange utilized its characters better, I would say. Instead of just creating new ones, they would always use the old ones in interesting ways, you know. And keep reusing them and stuff. And you know, there wasn't like a mystery or anything here to kind of keep you going. The whole Rachel Amber thing and like the dark room and all of that in the first one. All of that was like super interesting and mysterious. And I know this is a different kind of game. You know, they added some political stuff to it as well. But I still think it's good, and I still like it, and I still am excited for the next game. And I like that, you know, I played this game. I'm glad I did for sure, but just really wasn't quite as on that masterpiece level as the first one. But I do really like it still. So the music, actually, that's one thing that was definitely a downgrade. There was like almost no memorable tracks compared to the first game, which had like a super good soundtrack, and Before the Storm as well. But I think this emotional story between you and your brother and you know, a couple other characters was actually like really good. The bond between you two, and then the morality system, if that had been done better for the endings, that would have been good. But I do like that there was sort of a morality system. That is a nice mechanic to add, and especially in this situation, with you trying to sort of be a parental figure for this. It just doesn't kind of end up mattering that much at the end, you know. I guess it does, but it's also there for repeat playthroughs, so next time I can be an asshole or whatever, and then get the good bad ending or whatever. Bad ending. Whatever. I don't know. But I liked it. I mean, this is a good game for sure. I'm glad I played it. I can't wait to play True Colors as well. I hear that Steph from Before the Storm is in that game, so that's interesting. So we'll get to see her again. Hopefully it's more like the original games, where we just get to know certain characters a lot instead of getting to know, you know, quantity over quality. But I want quality over quantity, because this game did quantity over quality for characters. Except for the brothers. I think those were done well for characters, and maybe like Karen and a couple of the other ones. Yeah. But it was good. It was good. I liked it. So 8.5 out of 10. That's it. Until next time, this has been JZNES saying keep it classic. Stick around for more reviews, underrated games. I'll see you guys in the next one. JZ out.